I'll toss you a name that's in the UFL that I think could come to Pittsburgh, that I think might make some sense to come to Pittsburgh, that I wouldn't be totally opposed to. Especially, I thought Denzel Mims was a guy that I was very interested to see, but if you're going to replace him, I'd like to replace him with somebody good at least, and I think this guy's got potential. Chris Rowland played for the DC Defenders. He's a little dude, 5'8", 170 pounds, but he was the best kick returner of 2024, and I don't know, been working with the same kickoff rules that the Pittsburgh Steelers are about to implement this season. Cordero Patterson, I get it, is here, but why not have options? And I think that's a good option. He plays wide receiver. He plays kick returner. At bare minimum, come in here and teach everybody what's going on. Be a set of eyes that has already done this, a skill set that has already worked in what is happening. And at the same time, Cordero Patterson didn't do much during OTAs and minicamp. I don't know what's going on there, but if something is going on there, maybe have some experience. Chris Rowland is a name I've had my eye on. And I think he makes some sense, man. I think he makes some sense. I'll toss you another name too, if we're going to toss wide receivers out there that I think they could sign from the UFL, because I like your thought when it comes to this. Tyler Vaughns, former Pittsburgh Steeler, former USC stud. This dude was hands down the best training camp wide receiver I have seen in years. He did things. I was so shocked when he didn't make the roster. It was nuts. I get it that it was a bit of a loaded wide receiver group, and he was right there at the end. For him not to get an offer anywhere afterwards, for him to have to go to the USFL at the time and now the UFL, shocked me, because this dude was good. And I think the Steelers really liked him. He was a good kick returner, a good punt returner, and he could be a gunner. I don't know. I like both of those names. Chris Rowland, you think that's I think that's the more realistic of the two. You think that's a possibility? You think they could be looking a little Cordero Patterson competition here?
I mean, it makes sense, because whoever you bring in is probably not guaranteed to make the 53-man. In fact, it's probably somebody who's on the outside looking in and unlikely to make it anyway. So why not bring in somebody that's going to be a little bit of competition, not to mention the fact that in training camp, as we've seen in this new UFL NFL kickoff, you're going to need multiple returners. So if the Steelers are going in, they're going to want to test out Calvin Austin. They're going to want to test out Cordero Patterson. And like you mentioned, bring in somebody that has experience with that type of return, that has done it in-game action, which I think is very important here. I think it would make a lot of sense if that's who they ended up bringing in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that could be a move. That's a name to keep an eye on. Everybody's going to toss Brandon Ayuk out there, Cortland Sutton. These are the moves. DK Metcalf's coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chris Rowland, baby. Get the jerseys ready, because that man could be electric. Everybody, you always need one. The Steelers don't have the one right now. They don't have that guy that's going to come in here and be right on the verge of a roster bubble, a guy nobody's ever heard of who makes some noise and could compete for a roster spot. They always have one. This year, they don't have one. They have a ragtag group of wide receivers that everybody knows and are not good. And they need that one guy that's going to come in here and be that. Des Fitzpatrick was it last year, but you can't be it twice. So I would like to see Chris Rowland be the guy. I think that's a name everybody should watch